It's that most magical time of the year, appropriations arriving 6 months late for the current fiscal year, and Congress futzing over next year's budget, which will also arrive late. Here with his take on what contractors need to do, federal sales and marketing consultant Larry Allen. And this is becoming routine, but how come it somehow doesn't feel routine or correct?
Tom, I think one of the reasons it doesn't feel routine this year is because we were so late in 2023, 2024, getting the numbers for the fiscal year 2024 that it feels like we didn't get any rest. And that's right, we didn't get any rest. We went from 2024 straight into 2025. So we've already got Congress negotiating top-level spending numbers. We've got House and Senate posturing that could change, ironically, in both chambers after the November elections. We have people who are saying that if you want to increase defense spending, that's fine, but we need to really enforce parity with civilian agency spending. And of course, that's not going to go over well with all lawmakers. So it's just kind of, I wouldn't say it's Act One, but it's Act Two of the FY25 circus, and it's time to pay attention.
So contractors really have no recourse other than to follow the leads in terms of the solicitations and calls for task orders that they're getting from government customers.
Well, I think there are a couple things that contractors should do right now, Tom, in preparing for next fiscal year, and that is this week and last week, we've seen a steady drumbeat of administration officials making their way up to Capitol Hill to talk about their FY25 wish lists. And contractors ought to pay attention to what's on those wish lists because those have a way of making themselves known during the business season for next year. So, you're starting to track those opportunities that are coming down the pike. The other role for contractors is, look, while agencies are beating a steady path to the hill, there's no reason why contractors can't. While the House might have some restrictions on earmarks, the Senate, at least for right now, does not. And whether you're talking about an earmark or just trying to make sure that your program gets funded beyond this year, it's important for your elected officials to understand just what jobs are at stake in their states and districts.
Yes, because the usual processes of, I guess you would call it meta-normality, are the staff, the senior agency staff are going to Capitol Hill to talk about their programs, and the congressional staff is generally listening and taking notes and so forth. So they're going through the motions.
Oh, they are going through the motions. I think, of course, the big question mark is the November election, Tom. Will either party be able to flip the chamber that's held by the other one right now? Will we have both parties in control of one chamber? We just don't know. But you can certainly put a hypothesis out there that says if one chamber does flip, or ironically, if they both do flip party control, then I think there will be a lot of pressure to kick final FY25 spending decisions to the next Congress that doesn't convene until January.
We're speaking with Larry Allen, president of Allen Federal Business Partners. Yeah, so right next January in that election, and things tend to get draggy during election years anyway in terms of federal contracting. And I wanted to ask you about your take on the small business numbers. On the surface, it looks like, wow, government has no problem meeting the small business mandate in terms of percentage of contracts and dollars awarded. But that doesn't really tell the full story of the market, though, does it?
Tom, it really doesn't. While it's great news that the federal government for yet another year exceeded its 23% small business prime contracting goal, and not by a little bit, I think you really need to look beyond the numbers if you expect to be able to meet those goals moving forward. And what I mean by that is there's increased specialization in the federal market. If you look at the numbers recently put out by Bloomberg Government, they talk about the total small business contractor base dropping by about a third over the last 10 fiscal years. A third. That's 33,000 businesses that have net outflowed, small businesses. So when you're trying to bring in companies that are new to the market, who have innovative technology, You're really not doing that. You're rewarding companies that have the specialized infrastructure put in place that they need to comply with all the government rules and regulations. And for all of the talk about people wanting innovative and new businesses, some of the business meetings I've been in, frankly, particularly at DoD, if they don't know who you are, they can be very reluctant to do business with you because you're not tested, you're not proven. So I think while we made good progress this year, there are definitely some storm clouds on the federal small business contract horizon.
And one of the things that doesn't seem to be measured or monitored is, DOD and a lot of agencies run these challenge competitions to get so-called innovative ideas about this or that. It could be a technology, it could be some business process that the agency has, talent management. And yet I wonder how many of the people that get those challenge grants and prizes, which are small change basically, ever translate into full-fledged government contracting.
Right. And, we actually have a name for that, Tom. They call it the Valley of Darkness or the Valley of Death, if you want to get really gloomy about it. The people who start off with the innovative grants, some of them maybe SBIR Phase 1 type contracts, and then, do they ever make it into actual full open commercial production? Well, not all of them do. And there's been a lot of discussion about how you help contractors in that situation navigate the valley of death, but no real great solutions as of yet.
Right, and everybody in DOD knows about the valley of death because they refer to it constantly, but there doesn't seem to be any bridges, or if they are, they're getting hit in the bottom by boats.
Right.
Larry Allen is president of Allen Federal Business Partners. We'll post this interview at federalnewsnetwork.com/Federal Drive. Subscribe to the Federal Drive wherever you get your podcasts.